don't get me wrong, but you always have to have that in your mind, that you're in charge of the people that are drinking those drinks, and it's ultimately your responsibility if they go out and kill somebody after you served them, okay? So you have to be cognizant, aware of where they are along the drink spectrum. But first, let's talk about bartending in general, real quickly. You have to have, bartending is 90% personality and it's 10% ability, okay? But you have to have 100% of each. You have to love to serve people, you have to love to deal with people, you have to have a smiling, positive attitude. If you don't, you're never going to be a very good bartender. Because when you go into a place, what do you look for?
Bartender.
Absolutely. And that's why you come back to a place, right, all the time. You're going to be looking for a friendly guy. Somebody, he doesn't dominate the conversation. He's a good listener. This is what you want to strive for. But the most important thing is when you're coming to work, I don't care if your dog died or your cat got run over, your husband is going to divorce you, whatever. When you hit the door, you got to wash away all the day's negatives, okay? And that is not the easiest thing to do. But man, if you don't, you're not a good bartender. You have to, as hard as it is to do that, once you hit the door, you have to hit the door smiling and keep smiling until you leave the place. No matter what happens during the interim. If it's going to be busy, it's going to be hectic, you just have to weather the storm, because you will weather some storms. And you know, in the catering business, you never know if something got left on the truck or something's back at the thing, and everybody's doing everybody else's job. But the thing is, you have to maintain a positive attitude no matter what curves are thrown to you, okay? And no matter how busy you get or disorganized it seems, the shift is going to be over eventually. And the better you handle it, the more you smile and maintain a positive attitude, the more tips you're going to get, and the better the reputation for the place, and better standing among your coworkers too. You're working as a team, okay? If you're a bartender, you're a server, you're a kitchen guy, whatever you're doing, you're just part of a catering team. There's not many people to this little outfit, and I can appreciate that. I was a small business owner too. I had less than 25 people in my place. And, you know, when things got busy, everybody jumped in. They do dishes, the bartender would go back there and help do pizzas and whatever needs to be done. You know, you're gonna get involved in that, okay? So really, the essence of bartending is smiling, having fun, working hard, okay, and maintaining a positive attitude. They did a thing about smiling. I don't know, you've probably heard this. This is an old story. But when you smile, your brain says, I'm happy. And then also when you smile, in a crowd, other people smile too. So it is contagious. The smiling and the happy factor is there. If you're a smiling person and you're maintaining a happy, positive attitude, your customer's going to be right there with you. Okay, so that's really important. So we're going to have fun today because this is really, really easy. But all the mechanics, we have to touch on the mechanics, and we have to touch on the nitty-gritty stuff that makes bartending. You can be successful or not successful. But you have to have all the ingredients, all the tools. And so when you come in, you got to check yourself, okay? You got the attitude, all right? And then you got the personal hygiene, okay? You have to make sure that you're, you know, dressed okay and clean hands, and you know you're looking good for the shift, because bartender's like you're having a party and you're the host, right? So all these people are coming and you're hosting them. You know what? Your friends, you wouldn't answer the door on a dirty T-shirt and jeans if your mother-in-law was coming over, right? I mean, well, maybe you would. But anyways, you wanna put on a good face. But as far as being behind a bar, when you're behind a bar, I see bartenders doing this, and it's like, man, that is the worst possible thing you can be doing. You're touching yourself, you're touching your face, okay? You can't do that. You can't touch yourself behind the bar. Your face, nothing. And so you can't touch yourself. You can't cough, sneeze, runny nose, everything. You know, you grab a bev nap, you can sneeze. You know, go wash your hands. Keep your hands clean at all times. I don't have one today, but I usually have a bar towel on at all times. Clean bar towel and a wet bar towel. Something for wiping, something to keep your hands clean at all times. You should always have one, because then your hands are clean, And be conscious of where your hands are going, what they're doing. Ice buckets, that's one thing that I see happen all the time. You never know where the ice bucket has been. It could be, there might be a pile of moldy dog doo next to the ice machine in some ratty place, and you got 3 ice buckets. And then, so what do? You pick them up out of the pile of stuff and you stack them, okay, and carry them around. And then you go back and get some ice and you unstack them. Now, when you unstack them and put ice in there, and then dump that into an ice bin, think about what happens. Whatever's on the bottom of that skanky ice bucket is now in your first drink, okay? So you have to really be careful. There's a lot of opportunities for cross-contamination and disease carrying in restaurants. And you just want to lessen the chance. That's all you want to do. Here's a big thing that I see happen all the time in restaurants. I still see it. People picking up glasses like this. Can't do that because somebody has a cold sore or something like that. This guy's got some funky flu thing going on. And this person here has just been drooling, acting funny all day. You know, so okay, so you're going to set those down. You're going to go like this, and then you're going to squeeze a lime into the next drink, or put a lemon twist on there. You don't want to do that. You really don't do it. So you have to be conscious of that. Okay. Same thing with the fruit. This fruit, you don't know where it's been. I worked at the casino, and for a few years, 4 or 5 years ago, and at Seneca, Niagara. And I had barbacks there that absolutely refused to wash the fruit. And I blew them into the manager. I said, you got it. I've watched them drop this stuff on the floor, you know, roll through a puddle. People who were outside in their smoke break, they wiping their feet, right, and they come in, they just pick it up, they just cut it up. That's it. All right, okay, that's going in your drink. Okay, so that's why a lot of restaurant people, when they go to a bar, they say, vodka tea, no fruit. Whatever they're drinking, no fruit, don't put any fruit in there, because they know, right, where the fruit has been. So, when you're washing the fruit, it's really easy to do. Just stick it under some cold water, 20 seconds, running water, real easy. You know, that's all you're doing. Just washing the goop off, making sure everything's good to go. Good to go. All right, now we only have half a dozen different cuts. You can do lime wedges, lime wheels, lime half wheels. You do lemon wedges and lemon twists, lemon long lemon slices for like teas and stuff like that, unsweetened tea and plain iced tea. And then oranges, you can do half wheels or whole wheels on these. So let's do that. First of all, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to cut some fruit, just like this. I'll just bring this right over here. Okay, guys, so can everybody see kind of what I'm doing here? All right, so I'm taking this knife, and you lop the ends off, okay? And with half of this, I'm gonna cut. First, I'm going to do the twist, and on the other half, I'll do the wedges. But you're taking this, nice sharp fruit knife, okay, like this. All right? And the thing about cutting fruit is, when you're cutting fruit, always look down. Between slices, you say, hey, how are you? How's things going? Good. But when you're actually making the cut, man, you want to be focused right on that sharp object right in front of you so you don't slice your fingers off. I've seen it happen a lot of times over the years. People just come in and say, hey, what are you doing? It's whoosh, and the guy's like, oh man, I was talking, you know, I just cut my finger halfway off. So, and then when these are getting like this, you make them about that size, and then you've got a lemon twist, okay? You do that. And when you're using these things, use them like so. This is a martini glass, and so you rim it, the fruit side down, the skin down, and then you twist it and drop it. Okay, and that's a twist. So they get the essence of the oil and the lemon right on the drink, okay? These things are crazy. These wine glasses and martini glasses, they suck up any lipstick that's within like 4 miles of your joint. I mean, they're just like, oh my God, that lady's wearing lipstick. She's not even having a sip of the glass, but somehow her lipstick ends up on this glass. And it happens all the time. It doesn't, for some reason, not as many regular like rocks glasses are easier to clean, and highball glasses are easier to clean. But it's the stemware, the wine glasses and the martini glasses. Always take a look and check that before you serve it, okay? That's a big thing. Okay, so we've got the lemon twists are made It's the same thing, you know, you're just cutting, putting this wedge, so you're lopping this in half, right? And then, like this. These are nice little wedges, all right. Wedges are a good way to go because they're easy. Okay, you get 8, I've got 8 wedges out of a half of a lemon, okay? Fruit cost can add up, all right? Now that's nice, it's a nice little squeezer. You squeeze it and drop it, okay? If you're using like a half wheel, you want to cut the ends off. Cut the ends off. And then do this. And then you go down the middle, okay? Down the middle. And then finish it up with like this. But now you're only getting about 6 or 7 half wheels. So it's, let's see, what do I get? Well, I got 3, I got 6. So you're decreasing your fruit yield. You're making a pretty thing that hangs good on the side of the glass. It's nice. It'll hang on the side of the glass, but it's not really cost effective to do that. Plus, really, you know, as far as drinks go, you're in a catering environment. Wedges are great because you squeeze them, drop them, they get the flavor. People are at a table, they might not have enough bev naps to go around, and they don't want to pick that thing up at the table. Your hands are clean, you're a bartender, your hands are always clean, so you know you can squeeze it and drop it. Flavor the drink, that's what the fruit is for, you know, to be used. And not to be just hung on the side and look pretty, you know. So I've always been there's other bartenders that would say opposite. They would say, oh, you got to hang that thing up there. I'm telling you, if you're going to use fruit, squeeze it. Get the juice in there and have people enjoy the essence of the flavor. I think it's better. And so the orange is the same way. You're doing the same kind of a thing with an orange. We'll do a full wheel. Now, full wheels you would use for, geez, you know, you do use them for anything really, but, well, I don't know if you didn't want to use these full. But anyways, so you've got the full wheel, and it's going to hang on the glass like that, okay? And then you're only getting 6 of those, so that's not really a cost-effective way to cut your fruit either. So wedges are great for catering and high volume, and really any application where you're not too concerned about the presentation. It's not a 5-star restaurant. In a 5-star restaurant, you're going to maybe concentrate on the garnish as a visual presentation item. In a party environment, you want to make sure they're getting a good tasting drink and that they taste they've got a plate full of food maybe, and then they've got a drink in the hand, they're walking around their house. And they don't, you know, if you're in a party environment like that, in a catering environment, you might not have the wherewithal to squeeze and drop the fruit, and then what are they going to do? They're just going to go like this with it. So it's better that you don't. That you squeeze the fruit and drop it. Before we go into making drinks, let's check out the tools. Okay, we got shaker tin and glasses. Okay, these are for shaker drinks, and then I've got the strainer. So you're going to make a drink. You're going to throw the ice in here, shake it up, and strain it out. All right, and we'll do that in a little bit. And I've got pour spouts. This is your main thing, and then this is your other main thing. This is your main weapon. This is the thing. This is the 1 1/4 ounce metal jigger on one side, and it's a 3/4 ounce metal jigger on the other side. The standard pour, when I was started bartending 35 years ago, it was always 1 1/4 ounces. Things seem to have come down a little bit with the awareness of DWIs. But nonetheless, 1 1/4 ounces makes a good drink. And if you're, I don't know what you're pouring here, Sandra. Are you pouring 1 ounce or 1 1/4 ounces?
We haven't decided.
Yeah, it's in there. You know, 1 1/4 ounces of a 80 proof drink is equivalent to a 12-ounce beer, okay? 12-ounce standard normal beer.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. Yeah, right. Yeah. That'll keep everybody driving, right? So you can 1 1/4 ounces is not a bad thing, but use these. Even though we're going to learn how to pour a smooth shot, you can use the jiggers. I would highly recommend it because they're easy to pour with once you get used to them. Now, I worked in every kind of bar there is. I worked in biker bars and fern bars and juke joints and the Marriott hotels and Hilton hotels and the Embassy Suites and you name it, I've done it. The casino, own my own joint, beach bars, busy. And this is the most overlooked thing by managers and owners that is in existence. This is such a money saver and a consistent, a tool that makes you consistent. Every drink the same, right? And you know it, and your customer can see it. Because when you're doing this, the customer says, is he hooking me up? Well, he's giving me the ounce and a quarter. That's a standard shot, okay? So your customer knows, okay, I know what I'm having to drink if I'm having one drink. And like a beer is a measured dose, right? Now you're a bartender, a dosage regulator and dispenser of a legal drug. Again, if you're dispensing them in front of the customer and they can see exactly what they're getting, they can count as well as you can count. But if you are like, okay, here's my buddy and I'm hooking him up for the first one, and you slam somebody and give them a couple ounces of stiff drink, and the person doesn't see you pouring it, and they just get it and say, oh, that tastes a little strong. But they don't know it's a double, they don't know it's a triple, it's what? If it's mixed with something, it could be a real problem later on, you know, because they go down the road, oh, I only had 2 drinks. Yeah, but each one had 4 ounces of booze, you know, so trouble. So you have to be careful of that. The jigger is your friend. It's your friend. Stir sticks, they go in every drink. Bev naps. When you have a Bev nap dispenser, there's a Bev nap caddy. Here's a little trick to loading the Bev nap dispenser. You always put the fold towards you, the bartender, okay? Because you're going to pull them off of the stack, and you want the thing to come this way, because if they're not loaded properly, you pull it and it'll go like this. And it's just a little thing, but all the little things add up when you're busy and you want to make a quick, clean presentation. The Bev nap is the marker. This is the instant acknowledgement for customers, okay? When they come through the door, hi, how are you? When they come up to the bar, boom, mark their spot. Even if you're too busy to get to them, mark their spot, okay, with a Bev nap. Hey, I'll be right with you. And then they know that you've got them. And that's a good reminder for you. It's like you see an empty Bev nap on the bar, it's like, oh man, I got to get to that guy because you got 4 other people down the bar. But you know, you've marked their spot and you'll get to them. He's aware of it. And then you just move on. So pouring a beer. Oh, I guess we should go over the glassware real quick. This is a highball. It's kind of a small highball glass. Standard highball is like 8 to 12 ounces. This is probably a 6 ounce, I'll bet.
I think that's at least 8.
Is it 8?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Is it 8? Yeah, I don't know. Usually they say somewhere on it, it gets a little number somewhere. But 8 ounce glass, 8 to 12 ounces for a highball, 10 to 14 ounces for a Collins, tall ones. Rocks glasses are anywhere between 5 and 8 ounces. And champagne flute we have here. These are beautiful for pouring the champagne into. Also up drinks, like if you make like cream de mint and a grasshopper. Cream de mint, white cocoa, and cream shaken and strained into a champagne flute. It's a beautiful drink. You have the perfect size martini glass here. This is a great size. I don't even know how many ounces it is, but I can tell you, when you put 2.5 ounces of booze in here, it's going to look really good. It's going to look really good. A Manhattan is going to be 2.5 ounces of booze. Martini is 2 ounces and just a drop of vermouth, so it's really going to look like 2 ounces. When you're shaking those, okay, you're shaking an up drink, what you want to do is shake it a real lot, because every second you shake it, you're adding like 1/8 of an ounce of liquid to it. So if you give it a vigorous shake for a couple seconds there, you're building the volume of the drink. It's going to taste icy cold for refreshing too, but it's good to fill that glass up a little bit. Martinis, it's a tough crowd. I worked at a place in Buffalo called the Chocolate Bar. It's a martini joint, and they put 4 ounces. They had huge glasses. They actually had a glass, I think it was a 72-ounce martini glass. They only sell it for like 10 people or more. And they would put a bottle of booze in there, you know, and you'd make these chocolate martinis with all that booze in there. And it was like $75 for a martini. Crazy stuff. But their standard martini glass was a 10-ounce glass, this shape. And to make it look pretty, I mean, it was $10 a drink, but he put 3.5 to 4 ounces of booze in there. You have one drink, that's it, you're done. One drink, you're done. You can't legally drive out of it. So it was a place where people would come in, and the limo would pull up, the bridal party would get out, they'd all come in. The chocolate bar, they had chocolates, desserts, and chocolate martinis, and some crazy stuff, man. And all the people would stumble out of there like 5 pounds heavier because of chocolate cake and chocolate martinis and all this stuff. Couldn't be good for you. You get a chocolate martini hangover. You don't want to get up. You know, pretty rough for the sweetness factor. So these are good, but you always want to make sure that you're just pouring consistent pour. Whatever the house pour is, don't go over it. If it's a martini and you're pouring 2-ounce martinis, that's what you're pouring. That's what the rule is. Because if you aren't consistent with everybody else on board, what's going to happen is somebody's going to say, this martini that guy over there made, and this martini is like this much less. And you made this martini. What's going on? So then you have competing interests. So get your story straight about what the stuff is, what you're pouring. Make sure the drinks are consistent. And then everybody wins. Because everybody has the same story when a customer approaches, well, yeah, we use 2 ounces of martinis, 2 ounces of booze in our martinis, and 2.5 ounces of whiskey and sweet vermouth in our Manhattans. Okay, so just so all of that is set. So we got bath naps, we got glassware, the wine glasses we talked about. These are nice little, this is great. Banquet stuff is great because it's sized for economics. I worked at the casino, as I mentioned. This is a hot coffee drink glass. Those are beautiful too. At the casino, they had a 22-ounce glass for wine. 22-ounce glass for wine. Now I watched a novice bartender comes in there. They hired this guy, and he knew somebody, He give him a bartending job, and he proceeds to go. He filled it halfway full because he said, "Yeah, you got to fill it to where the tangent, the rim, the curve." Is like halfway, and that's where you fill a wine glass. You do not fill a wine glass. You get a 5-ounce pour or a 5.5-ounce pour in a wine. Okay, because there's 2 reasons for that: consistency and economics, and then there's even a 3rd reason for that, because you want to measure the strength of a drink. And so, 5-ounce drink is equal to 1 beer is equal to 1.25 ounces of booze. Okay, so a 5-ounce glass of wine. So those are all equal. So 0.02, those will raise the blood alcohol content, BAC, of a 160-pound male by 0.02. Okay, now DWIs are what?
0.08.
Okay, so that's easy. So if you drink 4 beers in an hour, you're done. Can't drive home. That's it. Can't drive home. But if you drink 10 beers over 3 hours, what do you got? You got 0.2. You know, it seems like, well, I just had 3 beers an hour for 3 hours. Even if you had 9 beers, you say, wow, man, that doesn't seem like a lot, does it? Just have 3 beers an hour. It's a hot summer day. You're at a big party. You've been dancing. And so every 20 minutes you go up and get a beer. You slam a beer. And then, okay, I'll say 9 beers in 3 hours. I feel fine. But really, okay, so you go 0.06 plus 0.06 plus 0.06 is 0.18. But then your body metabolizes about 0.02 an hour. So after 3 hours, okay, so you take 6 of those away. You're at 0.12 still. You might be feeling fine. 9 beers in 3 hours. That's a good pace. Well, it's 0.12. That'll land you in jail. You know, so you have to be careful about that. Drinking behind the bar is one thing that you absolutely can't do ever. Everybody noticed this? I got an interesting hairdo. This is from when I was a kid in my 20s. I was living down in D.C. working at a cop bar where there was no limit because the guys that came in were cops. And how do you cut off a cop? A cop owned the place, and all his cop buddies came in and drank there. So they want to drink with the bartender. Yeah, I'm drinking with him. And serving this bartender, this cop's girlfriend, whose birthday it was one night, and served her a bunch. My bartender partner served her a bunch. Well, she lived right in my neighborhood, and the cop says, hey, take her right home with her. She'll drive you. She's right in your neighborhood. All right, okay. So I'm drinking a couple of drinks, okay. This lady's loaded. I didn't realize how loaded till she rolled the car over. And I was ejected, and then I was laying on the pavement. It was like middle of March, and it was cold and dark, and it was kind of like, wow, man, this is kind of weird. Is this it? Well, it wasn't it. DC's first transgender policeman arrived on the scene to give me mouth-to-mouth. I found out the next day. I was like, what's up? A guy whose name was Bobby used to be Roberta, or vice versa. No, it was Roberta, it used to be Bobby. Crazy. How weird thing. So, don't drink behind the bar. You lose your good judgment, first of all. And it can result in, like, weird hair for the rest of your life. So you just have to be careful about that stuff. Well, let's open up beer and show you how to pour beer. Let's see, I think we got everything. We got the tools, right? We explained the tools a little bit. And then we have the ingredients. We have booze, and we have beer, and we have wine. So let's go over the beer. The beer is right here. Oh, I have a opener, which I always keep with me. This opener, I got this from a guy that invented this opener, and this is the coolest opener. When they used to have smoking in bars, they had a lighter on the one end, and it just, when that lighter would be perfect because it would stick up enough, make the bottle opener stick up enough so you could put it in your back pocket and not have to dig for it. It was great. So I keep this lighter in there as a memento of when it was smoking. Actually, I can't get the thing out for anything. I've tried a sledgehammer with a screwdriver, and the thing's in there for life. So it's like, okay, now watch, it'll pop out. But in any event, and then this is the wine service, the standard wine service. This is the other tool. Okay, so you're scraping the foil off, and then you do the thing. We'll go over that in a minute. But let's, how to pour beer. So you're presenting the beer. Budweiser? Oh. Let's do that. And then what you do when you're pouring a beer is you go and tilt the glass 45-degree angle, okay, and pour halfway down. All right. Now when you get, and I'll pick you up in the air, right? And then when you get halfway up, tilt it up, so you got a nice little head there, okay? And that's, boy, I haven't had a beer in many, many years. But that is a pretty good looking beer. So when you're pouring a beer for somebody in front of you, that's what you want to do. Also, the draft beer is the same way. You're tilting the glass 45-degree angle, and then you're coming up, and when you get halfway, do this, okay? Some beers are more lively than others, so you have to kind of know what's going on with that beer, because it might look like fun. Okay, yeah, if I go like this and come up with it, it might go like all over the place. But you'll get the hang of it. But it's 45 degrees, and then halfway up, you bring it to the center of the glass, okay, and then just kind of play with it a little bit and get the head on there. You should have about, they say about 1 inch of head, but really, I like about 1/10 of the glass or a fingerful, not quite 1 inch, maybe 5/8. It's about 1/10 of the glass. So what that gives you, it gives the house on a draft beer, it gives the house a free beer every 10th draft. That's kind of a cool thing to have. Because if you're filling it up to the tippy top with no head on it, it doesn't look as good. Because the beer thing is, the bubbles, when you get to your nose, it's the aromatics of the beer that kick in. So you want some head on there. You know, you want to have some head on there. And it looks good. But if you can give them 1/10 of that glass's head, every 10th beer is free for the house. So you're helping the house make money a little bit. And that's not a bad thing. Because it all comes back at you. Okay, so we did the beer thing, drafting that. The difference between beers now. Now we're talking about measured doses, right? Okay, we got 0.02. A standard Budweiser. It's 5.0% alcohol by volume, ABV, all right? Alcohol by volume. Now all the beers are alcohol by volume. Now, there was a big myth years ago that Canadian beers were stronger. It's a myth. They had a different measure of measuring. They were measuring alcohol by volume, and the U.S. was measuring alcohol by weight. So there was two different measures. So it appeared that the Canadian beers were stronger. But the U.S. beer companies have started using alcohol by volume to measure the percentage of alcohol by volume in a beer. And so they are equal. A standard beer is about 5%. Okay, Budweiser and Labatt's Blue, 5%. And then when you get to the light beers, they back off a little bit. It's about 4.2%. Okay, so a Blue Light and a Bud Light is going to be about 4.2% alcohol by volume. You get to Miller 64, it's 2.8. It's like water, dude. It's not very good. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but it's probably the perfect beer for a lady who wants to drink Miller 64, and she's probably a little skinny thing because she's concentrating on her weight and stuff. She's drinking Miller 64, and she's probably got this little body, so 2 of those are going to rip her anyways. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, all right, got 2 little beers. But actually, you know, if you think about it, little people get drunk faster than big people, okay? Because it's a whole blood alcohol content thing. So a woman who drinks 2 beers is going to have the same. She will probably have the same blood alcohol content as a guy that drinks 3. All right. So it's not a bad thing to serve those little ladies that Miller 64. Okay. Especially if she's going to drive you home. Keep that in mind. So let's open up some wine. So that's enough for the beer, I think. So the craft beers, you have to be really careful with the craft beers, though. Because now they've got some Sam Adams, Lee Heavy stuff that's like 10% alcohol by volume. I bartend every other Saturday night at the Armor Inn in Buffalo. And we have 36 taps. And I go in every 2 weeks and there's like all these new beers on tap. And I spend the first 10 minutes saying, all right, how much is this and how strong is it? How much is this one, how strong is it? How much is this one, how strong is it? Because I need to be able to tell the people that when they're ordering the beer, oh, you're drinking just so you know, you're drinking 6.0% or 8%. Anything over a standard beer, you want to let the customer know, because if they think they're just having a couple beers and you're slipping them a couple shots, the equivalent of a couple shots into that, that's not a good thing. So you want to be upfront with the customer as much as you can and let them know what they're drinking. That's what this whole green, yellow, red thing, I'll explain that in a little while. But let's get on to the wines. Okay, reds. I've got a handout that Sandra's going to give you at a later date, and it's got all the sweetness levels of the wines. Okay, and they progress from the sweetest to the driest, and then also the sweetest to the driest in the whites also. Now, like a white wine, a Moscato is really sweet. Riesling's pretty sweet. Chardonnay is very dry. Pinot Grigio is in the middle there. So you want to kind of know a little bit. And after a couple of, you don't have to be a wine snob, but there's a couple of things you do need to know about presenting wine at a table that will get you a good reputation and say, oh, these people are really nice. Everybody knew exactly what they were doing, when they served at the table. Because catering, you're going to do a lot of that, table service, okay? And pouring it at the bar as well. But table service is extremely important in a catering gig. You're going to walk over. First, what you're going to do is you're going to say, look, I worked at places and the guy says, oh yeah, we're going to show you how to take this thing off. You know what? Don't even bother with it. Take the whole thing off. You're going to open the whole bottle of wine. This way, it's done. It's over with, okay? You don't have to take just the top off of that foil. And then you take this and go, start it like that, and then you just twist. Okay, you're twisting, all right? And you leave one full twist there, okay, on these. That's it. That gives you enough to do that's it. How easy is that? All right, perfect. All right, now let's pretend this is a bottle of champagne, all right? You got the champagne, you got the cage going on with the champagne. So it's like, oh boy, you don't want to shake it up or anything like that. So what you want to do is you take that cage, take a cloth napkin, or a towel in the left hand, and you've got so you're undoing the twister thing on the cage, right? 6 turns, counterclockwise. That's it. That's like the standard one. They all come off in 6 turns. I don't know. They must have had a meeting. Said, oh, we better make this so everybody knows it's just 6 turns. That's all. So you untwist that. It's 6 turns. It's just enough to loosen up the cage. And then you put that, you don't have to take the cage off, actually. And actually have better control of the cork if you don't take the cage off. But just cover it with a cloth napkin, all right? And then you firmly, and then you grab the base of the bottle, and you're twisting it. Very slowly, and you don't want to hear anything. You hear a very small whoosh, okay, when you finish opening that champagne. And then and a champagne, you go like this. You take this and you pour, you try and hit the other side of the glass with this, okay? You go down the other side of the glass and up to half, okay, is where you want to go with the champagne pour, okay? So try and get that, try and hit the other side, and then stop, okay? And when you're finishing up a wine pour, it's like this. It's real easy. You go over the right shoulder, okay? If here's a guy who bought a great, nice bottle of Canyon Red Pinot Noir, 2011. So you present him. So here's the guy that ordered it. Doesn't matter if they're young or old or whatever. You take it to the guy who ordered it. You say, this is the Canyon Red. It's the Pinot Noir California 2011, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. So we open that in front of him. You don't bother giving them the cork anymore. That's something that doesn't need to be done anymore. There's no sense to it because the cork is never bad. They're artificial corks. They don't go bad, and there's no need to do the whole sniffing the cork thing. It's beyond that stage now. So what you do is you pour a little bit into his glass after you open it up, and at the end of the pour, you twist it as you take it, or give it a twist of the wrist as you pull away, okay? And that way you won't spill it. I kind of spilled it because I'm that way. But another idea why they have, you see the guys with the cloth draped over the thing? There's one reason why they do that. Because you got a cloth draped over your wrist, and it's a nice little thing, and you do this, and then it gives you a steady, gives you something to lean on, right? And then you go like this, and then you go like that. So you can create the leverage. You got a bar to pour over, so you're not nervous and stuff like this. But you're supposed to do that. Okay, so once you give this guy a slug, he says, okay, that's good. Everything's good. That's approved. So you just give him a little splash, and then you go around the table clockwise and pour over right shoulders for everybody, right? So just don't elbow anybody in the head, but you can do this and get down in there. Over the right shoulder for everybody, okay? And then you get back to the guy who ordered the wine and fill his glass, and just up to halfway. Just up to halfway. It gives them an opportunity to swirl the glass, okay? And of course, you want to make sure that you've got enough for everybody too. You don't want to say, okay, there's 7, you get to, and there's only 5 half glasses of wine in a bottle, and all of a sudden there's like 8 people. It's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, that's all you get is the sip. Thanks for ordering. Can you order me another bottle? It's like, oh, great, yeah, better. So that's the wine thing. So white wine, Sandra will give you a list with the white wines and sweetness to dryness. It's good to have that recommendation. There's only 4 or 5 real popular wines. Chardonnay is the #1 white wine served in the United States. And then you're looking at white Zin for the rosés. And you can get into the Chiantis if you're an Italian joint, or a Merlot is really nice, medium-bodied wine. So those things, those are all pretty good. There's 4 or 5 real. Pinot Noir is great. It's very light-bodied, ruby red wine. It's almost you can see through it. It's transparent, and that's a beautiful light-bodied red that people seem to like. And then the Zinfandels are very heavy, peppery wines. I don't drink anymore, so I miss the whole wine thing, and I miss the whole craft beer thing. And I kind of think about that. I work in a beer joint. People say, "Oh, what is this? What is it? It's got a note of oatmeal and stuff." I'm like, whatever it is, it is. Whatever you think it is, it is. I grew up on Budweiser, so it's like I don't know that whole craft beer thing, so I can't be a beer snob with them. So we got Shiraz, Chianti, to name some reds. Okay, so you show the person, you open it without any fuss. You don't need to present the cork. I'm just going over these, allowing the swirl of wine. Twist the thing as you finish. It takes a little while to get used to that. Just grab. You can practice at home. Next time you're pouring a bottle of anything, just try and twist that and see how that works for you. Okay, you get good at it. All this stuff, you get good at it. It's just practice. Bartending is practice, practice. I served 1 million drinks, as I said earlier. And I could just talk to you and pour an ounce, and that's how it is. But it takes a couple of months to get to that point, and I just kind of stuck with it for 35 years for some reason. So let's practice the mechanics of drink making before we talk any more about customer service. So let's get around here a little bit about this table and pour an ounce. All right, pour an ounce and a quarter. Pour an ounce and a quarter.
Casey, you got this.
I'll put one of these in here so it's not a real thing. All right.
You just got that.
Yeah, just pour an ounce and a quarter. Okay. That might be, yeah. So that's how you treat your buddies, right? It's like, your buddy's going to jail tonight. Your buddy's going to jail. There's an ounce and a quarter. Oh, look at that. Actually, you know what? I think that's a perfect pour, dude. Oh my God. You're a born bartender.
I spend a lot of time in bars, so.
Do you? Perfect. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Pour a smooth shot. The whole thing is this. Grabbing the bottle with authority, pouring a smooth shot. Grabbing it. Okay, now when you're actually doing this, when you're doing this, let's see if I can do that too. Boop, okay. that works for me too. When you're using a jigger pour, you're going right over the glass, okay? Right over the glass. So you're pouring it and dropping it, okay? Pouring it and dropping it. That's an ounce and a quarter shot, okay? Now come on up and take turns pouring shots.
2 of those was an ounce and a half?
No,
One.
one is an ounce and a quarter, I'm sorry. One is an ounce and a quarter.
The second one.
And the second one is 3/4 ounces. So you're good to go. So everybody, come on up and pour some shots. I got, there's another jigger pour here.
So did I, but I just want to question.
Johnson just
You
lost
need
that.
one on each side?
Yeah.
I like to do that.
Just like a Saturday night.
Yeah, Jason, what was it? How full do you fill that?
All the way up, all the way up, yeah, all the way up. Third,
All the way
ounce and a
up.
quarter. Yeah. And see, you want to trail it at the end kind of thing.
Yeah.
When you're getting it close to the top, you can dump it and trail it a little bit.
I don't know how many, because I think I
Nice.
not cussing, they just do it like that.
So it's all about pouring, but when you pour, you grab that bottle, you grab it by the neck, okay? Just grab the bottle by the neck, okay? Grab right by the neck and put your finger right over that part, okay? Yeah, just your finger right over that part, right? Yeah. And with the, yeah.
Is that real emerald
And
or is that water?
the object is that you have to make it look like you've done it a million times. If it's your first day on the job, your first bartending thing, you want to make sure the little old lady doesn't see you shaking,
Could
okay?
you hold the bottle, on the bottle or up at the neck?
Right like that. Sandra's got it perfect.
I used to do this.
Yeah. You grab it, grab it.
You're holding the edge.
Kelly's all over the finger.
Y'all want a drink?
Yeah, that's a big one. You might want to even try this one too. Yeah. So you just, that's easier. It's a little easier to handle it.
Y'all want? You wrote mom in this one.
Used to this, actually, not this. Oh boy, making a mess. You should have a lot of expertise.
I have expertise in pouring, without this and without this.
Just drinking straight from the bottle. All over the house.
I never blown my nose.
No, my dad taught me the 3-second rule.
That's okay. I would listen.
3 seconds.
That was yours. I don't know which one's yours.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right, yeah. That's right.
Easier to use the right hand than the left. Yeah, so far.
That's right, man. I sent you a picture of somebody else, you know, yeah.
I gotta say,
Yeah, right, yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Just delicious chug.
It's like a cracker.
I can show this.
Well, it's pretty sure you can run, dude.
I noticed the difference comes from
I did.
this one. I noticed the difference pouring. Isn't that nicer? Yeah. But you want to pick it up like this, man. Always pick it up like that, because if you're busy and you lose the pour spout.
So when we go out and buy the pour spouts, what should we be buying?
Those are, these, for my money, are the best I've ever used. We use those at a beach bar, and they never hold up. These don't always pour really smooth. These last for a really long time, too. And then maybe get a small bag of these as backups, because the necks on these break, that's the problem with those.
I got a great
Occasionally.
one.
Yeah.
So I can't stop.
So,
Realize I'm not here.
Thanks, thanks so much. Just like right after that.
on shaker with us. I did acronyms.
Phil's got it.
Have you been able to use it yet?
You a bar?
Time in my life to
Wow.
drink.
Did you go bar, URMC or the college?
The medical.
That would be, I would say.
They're a hard client.
We'll do that.
Right.
Okay, so there,
Right.
okay, so you learn how to pour that shot. That's the important part.
So
Learn
even
how
if
to-
we've never done this before, we should pretend we have.
Yeah, even if you, first day on the job, before you get in there, 20 minutes, all you gotta do is spend 20 minutes going, you know, whoa, watch this, you know. But it's all about just pouring it, grabbing it by the neck, grabbing it with authority, you know where it is. The bar is, you know, the bottle is right there. And here's a basic bar setup. I've got this thing that's on the tables, okay? It goes vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, scotch, bourbon, triple sec tequila. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bottles. That's it. You know, that's your catering setup, okay? Vodka, gin, rum, bourbon, scotch, whiskey, triple sec tequila. All right, so those are your things, and you always put them in the same spot because 90% of the people maybe are right-handed, and you want to grab with your right. So always you're grabbing with your right, and then left hand is where your soda gun's going to be, or whatever. You got canned pop or whatever. But you used to just grabbing that bottle, and you know just where it is all the way up and down the line. You can, you know, if you get into a busier bar somewhere where you're looking, you know that Absolute Citron's going to be over here, and Grand Marnier's going to be over here, stuff like that. So, but consistency is key, not just in the strength of the drink, but everything you do behind the bar. Consistency is absolutely key. It's filling the glass with ice every time out. Filling the glass with ice, and then making that drink and making it to a level. You want to fill up a drink. At the bar, I fill them almost all the way up, and if it's going to a table, I leave a little bit for the waitress so she doesn't spill it all over the place. Okay, so that you want to be kind to your servers that way. If you're bartending, you want to make sure they can carry it to the table. You know, there's nothing worse than we used to run into this problem a lot at the martini bar. The customers, the guy would want you to fill them right up, the owner. But it wasn't possible to carry them upstairs on a train, like 5 of these things. One's chocolate, and you come back and there'd be chocolate sauce everywhere, and strawberries and cream, and it was just a mess. And some really crazy stuff. But it was because they were overfilling the glasses. You just want to make them so you can carry them away, get to the table without spilling them all over.
If somebody comes up to the bar and they're ordering, say, 4 drinks, you know, do you do like 1 drink at a time from like start to finish, or do you like ice all the glasses for? I mean,
Ice all the glasses. The drink dictates the glass. So they say, okay, I'll do 2 gin and tonics, a 7-7, and a vodka tea. Okay, I'm gonna grab 4 glasses, put them up there, and then and I'm just gonna start pouring. Okay, so you pour all the booze, and the build drinks. Those are build drinks when you're just building a drink in a highball glass. Okay, you're just adding ice and adding booze and adding a mixture and putting a garnish. That's it. That's a build drink. All right. And so it's 1 or 1 1/4 ounces of booze. 1 shot of booze, fill it up with stuff. Put a garnish on there, stir stick, thank you very much. Okay, boom, and you're done. So that's a build drink. Those are the basic drinks. Okay, we got a build drink is a vodka tonic, it's a vodka tea, it's a gin and tonic. Gin and tonics and vodka tonics are build drinks, so you're gonna take an ice bucket. Make this. You take the ice bucket and fill a glass with ice. Of course, you'll be working with a larger ice bucket, but right up like that, okay? And then you're going to pour a shot. Look, you always want to have it going this way. See how the red ones, they don't pour out very good all the time? But this one pours like a champ every time out. They never fail on me. They never fail on me. These pour spots, except when the bottle's empty. And then, so you're filling that up, and then you put the liquid on top of there. Tonic. And then, so you got the drink, and then you got this beautiful lime thing going on over here. So a tonic, here's what I do with the tonics on it. You got a half wheel, I squeeze half of it, and then I put the squeezed half in the drink, so it still looks beautiful on the outside, okay? And that's just a little kind of a thing that you can do. And so they get the fruit juice squeeze in there, and they still get the garnish on there, and the bruised part is hidden in the drink, so that's a nice way to approach that. And then you boop, okay, so you got vodka teas, gin and tonics. Gin and tonics, vodka tonics, they get a lime. Gin and soda, vodka soda, lemon. That way, you always know what's going on when you got a tray full of drinks. Okay, and now then you've got a gin and tonic and a vodka tonic sitting next to each other. I'm going to put a V in there for vodka, 2 straws, V for victory, vodka, straw, little vodka. Okay, and then 1 for gin, G, it's just 1 straw. Okay, so gin, vodka, and then so you could have 4 drinks that all look the same on a tray, but you'd be able to spot which was the vodka tonic, vodka soda, vodka tonic, vodka soda, and gin and tonic, gin and soda. Because there'd be 4 different stir sticks and 2 different garnishes. Or 2 different stir sticks and 2 different garnishes. So you know, okay? You'll get it when you do that. So just all these little things that the garnishes work out really well that way. If you're doing, let's move on to some rocks drinks. The basic things you're going to be making, okay? Well, I guess the other bill drinks you're going to be making for your parties, catering parties, it's vodka and tea. It's gin and tonic, vodka tonic. It's Madras, which is vodka, cranberry, and orange juice. And it's Bay Breeze, which is vodka, cranberry, and pineapple. Okay, half and half on the pineapple cranberry mix, all right? So those are really beautiful drinks. People, what should I have? Recommend something. Recommend a nice fruity drink, and oh my God, wow, you know, I just don't know what I should have. Oh, try one of these. Wow, you get the, wow, there's $1. Well, thank you so much. 100 of those add up. It's like good. You please be, oh, that man just gave me this drink, you know what I mean? I get little old ladies, yeah, I give them a grasshopper or something. Whoa, I haven't had one of those since 1963, you know? It's like, So, you get these good, suggestive, don't be afraid to suggest a drink for somebody. Read your customers. They come in and okay, just kind of get a sense of what they want. And then if they want a drink recommendation, oh, you like fruity or sweet, or what do you like? Dry, or, so if they like something dry, vodka soda, splash of cranberry, something not too sweet, but it's got a beautiful kick to it, because just a splash of cranberry flavors the drink, and it keeps the sweetness out of it. It's a nice little tart thing, and you throw a lime on there. It's like, oh, wow, that's a nice little summer drink. Very thirst quenching. So that's good. So the other drink, bill drink, is going to be fuzzy navel. That's going to be one of the things that you're going to make at a catering party at a wedding. So, I'll have a fuzzy navel. You don't sell them except for at catered parties. Honest to God, they know that a caterer is going to bring in a bottle of peach schnapps and OJ. So I'm going to have a fuzzy navel. It's like, yeah, it's the only time you're going to get one. Yeah, I mean, bars don't hardly carry the stuff anymore. It doesn't get used very much, but it's a catering staple. So peach schnapps is definitely, the Kuiper peach is one to have. So you get the fuzzy navels. A hairy navel is a fuzzy navel, and you add vodka. And that's like, oh, that turns into a little gushy drink, It's got a little kick in it. So, we got
Someone at the
that.
door.
Really? Okay, name.
No, that would be a hairy navel.
Oh, that's how I like it.
Yeah, you like the hairy navel, yeah. The fuzzy's the original cocktail. It's the, so that's good. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, that's great. You didn't miss anything.
this is Marty.
They can fill you in. Hi.
Marty.
You
want to sit here?
They got plenty of food over here too. So we're just talking about billed drinks, and now we're going to go to the rocks drinks, or the next thing. So you got your beers, your wines, your billed drinks, and then your rocks. Okay. The rocks glasses, these are perfect size rocks glasses. They're a little large actually. These are probably like 7 or 8 ounces. I don't know. 9, are they? Yeah, they're pretty big. Now the thing about rocks glasses is, when you fill them with ice halfway, then the rest is going to be booze, right? So good rocks glass size is 5 to 6 ounces to 7 ounces, because if you jam them with ice, and then if you put 2.5 ounces of booze in, it's going to fill it up to about there, and the ice is going to melt down. By the time it gets to the table, you got a 2.5 ounce drink in a 6 ounce rocks glass. It looks great. It looks great and tastes great. Fills the glass. Okay, so that's an important thing to know. See this little ice scoop? Always use an ice scoop. Never, ever, ever dip your hands in the ice bin. Never put stuff in the ice bin either. It's the same thing with like the ice buckets. I've worked in places where they throw the wine bottles from the skanky cooler juice, and they always are sitting on the bottom of the cooler, and they throw them up in the ice bin. where they're making drinks in that stuff, you know, so the bottom of that is going into the top of your glass, it's not a good thing. So hygiene, again, is important. So you're grabbing the scoop, and never use anything but a scoop or a shaker tin. I use shaker tins almost exclusively, because this just doesn't get it done. But it's nice, it looks good for a very small thing. But, you know, I use one of these big shaker tins, a mini shaker tin.
What should we
This-
have our ice in for at a catered bar?
Um,
Like a bus tub or?
a bus tub, yeah, a clean, dedicated
Clean,
bus tub
gotta
that
be
says
clean.
ice only, yeah, ice only on it in big letters, ice only bus tub. Yeah, and so that's good. And what you can do, actually, you can buy one of these, you can buy a fish container or a fish strainer container. So it's got the holes in the bottom and they fit in the bus tubs. So you can put that ice on top. So you're not, so if you got a 2 or 3 hour event, you're not scooping up water with the ice. So that's really good to have for catered parties, is a good supply of ice on the side. And then you can change that. You can dump the water out as you see fit, and then you've got, when you're refilling the ice. So those are good things to have. A fish place, restaurant supply, Buffalo Hotel's got it. Rochester Hotel, maybe, whatever the equivalent is here. So they'll be able to hook you up there. But that's a good thing to do. So you got the rocks drinks. Now the important thing about rocks drinks is we're going to go, this is, okay, we're going to make a martini and a Manhattan, a Rob Roy, martini, Manhattan, Rob Roy, Black Russians. Which you won't get into really, because you're not going to have dark cocoa behind the bar or Kahlua behind the bar, rarely, unless it's ordered specifically for the party. But you sure will get the martini and Manhattan drink. Now martini drinkers are crazy because really they just want a couple of ounces of gin or vodka, okay? It's because they're at a function and they want a stiff drink, and that's what they want. They just want a couple ounces of booze so they don't have to go back. Okay, so you're going to please them because you're here to please everybody. You're the host. You're having them over for a party, and you want them to be happy. So you're going to cater to their every whim. They're always right. You can always fix a drink. You can never give anything away at a cash bar, but cash bar or no, you can always fix a drink. If you made the drink wrong, the customer's always right. You take that drink right back and remake it with a smile, and it's all good. You know, because hey, there's no problem. There's no problem in remaking a drink, because even if you know you made it right, who cares? Who cares? You know, there's nothing so important as the person in front of you and their happiness at the transaction. The drink that they are getting, you want them to be happy at all costs, all reasonable costs. You can't lend them like $5 at the same time. So we got the rocks drinks. So we've got martinis or Manhattans. Martinis are up or on the rocks, gin or olives, gin or vodka. Olives are a twist. So you have options. Martinis, Manhattans, up or on the rocks. The drink dictates the glass, okay? So you need to know. Somebody says, okay, I'll do a martini. Okay, up or on the rocks. What are you going to grab? All right, and they say, okay, we're going to grab, let's say, oh, I like that up. Okay, up, great. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to grab this. They said, up. Not on the rocks. I get this all the time. I said, oh, stop. And then I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to put some water in there, and the lady will nudge her husband. He's chilling the glass. That's what he's doing. He's chilling the glass. And it's like, yeah, he's chilling the glass. This is what you do. You put that up, and you see you start the glass chilling while you're making an up drink. And this is the way to do things properly, so that when you present that drink, it's frosty, cold on the outside, and cool on the inside. So what we got here is my shaker tune. Oh, is my big
Marty,
tune.
excuse me, I have to stop the video in 2
Oh, okay.
minutes.
Okay, sure.
So just giving you 2 minutes warning.
Oh, okay. Can I
And
make a
I
martini,
have
two
to
drinks?
change the tape.
2 minutes, yeah. All right, so let's make a martini. So a martini is like very little vermouth. Most people, you can, like 1 drop is a lot, okay, in a martini. So you say gin, okay, they set it up, gin or vodka? Gin. All right, let's take some gin, and we'll grab the ice, put it in the shaker can. All right. And let's grab some. So I'm doing 2 ounces, all right? 1 drop of vermouth, like that. Or even put a finger over it and just let a little bit through your hand. If you think you poured more than enough, more than a drop, take the strainer and strain it out. And then you got a drier martini. Usually, I've been making martinis all these years. I look at the vermouth bottle, the dry vermouth bottle, that's it. And I just pour gin or vodka. That's it, that's what I do. Because that's what people want, and honest to God.
So
They can't,
they really don't want vermouth?
no, that's been my experience. You know, I've been doing it all these years, and people, oh, you make a great dry martini or martini. Oh, yeah, because you wanted a glass of booze and I gave it to you, you know? So that's how that works. Okay, so put the halves together there, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, and then you just kind of break the seal on that and get your strainer out.